Qi triplex unity. Qian and Kun, either as trigrams or hexagrams, stand for heaven and earth, yin and yang. The trigram heaven is made up of 3 yang lines and is pure yang, while the trigram earth is made up of 3 yin lines and is pure yin. The trigram Qian is in command of bestowal, the trigram Kun is in command of receiving nourishment. Change refers to the change and transformation of yin and yang. As yin and yang act upon each other, they create the 6 trigrams: fire, water, thunder, lake, mountain and wind. Heaven and earth are seen as father and mother, or husband and wife, while the other 6 trigrams are seen as sons and daughters. The trigrams heaven and earth also symbolize the true breath. Qian is firm and Kun is yielding, they are fitted to embrace each other. Wei Boyong, 2nd C. Taoist Master, Cantong Qi triplex unity. There is a saying, as you breathe, so the firm and yielding rub against each other, so they form the very image of Qian and Kun, opening and closing. The method of inner development which produces a divine immortal uses man's ability to reflect back his brightness to light up within. His out-breath and in-breath merge together into a stage of supreme peace. Yuan, Commentary on the Cantong Qi. When the celestial, yang, is overcome by the mundane, yin, reality is obscured. This is like heaven mixing with earth, the yang in the middle of heaven enters the palace of earth, so that the trigram of earth is filled in and becomes water. When the mundane takes the position of the celestial, intellectual knowledge and emotions gradually develop. This is like earth mixing with heaven, the yin in the middle of earth goes into the palace of heaven, so the trigram of heaven is emptied and becomes fire. Yin and yang are no longer pure and the true breath is lost. To return to pure yin and yang energy, one needs to reverse this process in oneself. When one reverses the process, the trigrams fire and water are then seen as the medicine and heaven and earth as the crucible and furnace. They are the method or the tools to return to pure yang. The gold crucible is something firm, strong, stable. This symbolizes single-minded concentration of will, by which one can bear the Tao. The jade furnace is something warm, flexible, even, peaceful. It symbolizes gradual progress of the work, by which one can persevere long and go far. The gold crucible is also called the crucible of heaven, the jade furnace is also called the furnace of earth. Lu Yiming, The Inner Teachings of Taoism. The 2 hexagrams heaven and earth are taken for the crucible and furnace because the firmness of yang and the flexibility of yin are considered the substance. The 2 hexagrams water and fire are taken for the medicinal substances because the balance of firmness and flexibility is considered the function. Lu Yiming, The Inner Teachings of Taoism. The crucible of heaven represents single-minded concentration of will to not allow the firing process to be interrupted, while the furnace of earth represents the progress of the firing times. Heaven and earth set the stage, whilst change travels in their midst. Heaven and earth take as images the creative and the receptive. Change is shown through water and fire. Water and fire are the functions of the creative and the receptive, altogether streaming through the 6 empty spaces. Wei Boyong, Cantong Qi. Fire can refer to the post-celestial fire of the human mind and to the pre-celestial fire of the mind of Tao. The fire of the human mind refers to the many desires and emotions that veil the original spirit. The pure consciousness of heaven has been invaded by human emotions and conditioning, resulting in the trigram fire. The restlessness of acquired energy in people is the yin fire, this is the false. The energy of harmony of essence and feeling in people is the yang fire, this is the real. Li Yiming, The Taoist I King, hexagram number 24, Return. The fire of the mind of Tao refers to the illumination of conscious awareness, the firing process that retrieves the presence of the original spirit and is seen as medicine. In the same way, water can be seen as the post-celestial water of human mind and the pre-celestial water of the mind of Tao. True awareness is the product of heaven, pure clear yang water, which is the elder water. Emotional desire is the product of earth, polluted yin water, which is the younger water. Li Yiming, Commentary on Understanding Reality. Water of the human mind also refers to the emotional desires of the human mind. While fire of the human mind represents the strong energy of these emotions, water of the human mind refers to the endless stream of thoughts produced by these emotions. Elder water, the water of life, refers to the true awareness of the mind of Tao and is called true Yang and is also seen as medicine and is represented by the trigram water. Kan, heaven, and Li, earth, streaming through the 6 empty spaces refers to the medicine of yin and yang changing or moving through the hexagrams and trigrams. They take control, so to speak, over each of the other trigrams and create the changes: thunder, lake, heaven, wind, mountain, earth. Wei Boyong uses the 6 trigrams to illustrate the firing times of the elixir, but he also matches them with the 6 lines of the hexagram Qian. Why does he do this? Because the elixir is the most precious treasure of the purest Yang, and Qian, heaven, is the hexagram of the purest Yang. Yu Yan, the secret of everlasting life, commentary on the Cantong Qi and the Cantong Qi, Wei Boyong matches the 6 trigrams with the waxing and waning of the moon. Here the moon symbolizes the furnace of earth. In the path of submission nothing is greater than earth, for a symbol of receptivity, nothing is more obvious than the moon. Lu Yiming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 2 earth. To refine the elixir you must seek the crescent moon furnace. Zhang Baduan, understanding reality. The crescent moon refers to the moon of the 3rd day of the lunar calendar month, appearing as a hook of light in the direction of Earth, southwest. That light curves upward, that is why it is called the crescent moon. What this crescent moon symbolizes in humans is a point of yang light shining through the middle of extreme quiet. Among the trigrams it is thunder. The point of yang light is nothing but the light of the mind of Tao. Lu Yiming, commentary on understanding reality. The trigram thunder represents activity, the return of yang energy. Zhen, thunder, comes forth as an inkling. And the yang breath makes it start. Initial 9, withdrawn dragon. Wei Boyong, Cantong Qi. Thunder is a dragon. Li Yiming, commentary on understanding reality. Thunder represents the celestial coming to the fore from beneath the earthly, celestial energy arising with time. When practitioners of the Tao activate the energy of will and go directly forward, this should be like the movement of thunder, only then can they rise up with firmness, and not be subject to compulsion by human desires. The Taoist I Ching, mixed hexagrams number 51 thunder and number 53 mountain. The moon borrows the light of the sun. The waxing of the moon represents the yang light of the mind of Tao, which is conscious awareness, growing until it is full. There are 6 steps or phases. The 6 trigrams are matched with the 6 lines of the hexagram heaven. The holy man, who understands the mysteries of creation inherent in end and beginning, becomes superior to the limitations of the transitory. For him, the meaning of time is that in it, the stages of growth can unfold in a clear sequence. He is mindful at every moment and uses the 6 stages of growth as if they were 6 dragons, the image attributed to the individual lines, on which he mounts to heaven. The I Ching p. 371, Wilhelm/Bain's edition, commentary on hexagram number 1, the creative. The 6 firing phases are timed with one's breath. The true fire is one's own spirit, the true times are one's own breathing. Refining the medicine by means of fire in order to form the elixir is like spirit driving breath in order to attest the Tao. Zhu Yuanyu 17th c. Taoist Master, commentary on the Cantong Qi. Dragons can spit fire with each breath and are symbols of the firing phases. Long ago, in an enchanted forge, Sir Henry fashioned the iron tree dragons. When a pure heart plays the magic bells, the dragons awake to fly in 6 directions. The dragon of the nether region will flee from despair and bring hope. The dragon of heaven will arrive with the gift of true love. And from the 4 corners of the earth will come peace, health, wisdom and happiness. The Dragon Tree Legend, Ron Baird. After one has refined the elixir and all mundane energy is burned away, one is pure and the work of doing is finished. When the full moon of contemplation is reached, you will be pure. Journey to the West ch. 19. Spiritual alchemy must start with doing, restoring the primordial while in the midst of the temporal, recovering one's original jewel of life. At that point one embraces the fundamental and preserves unity, traveling the path of non-doing, thereby realizing the original essence of real emptiness. What can be done for all the quietists who only know non-doing and do not know doing? Liu Yiming, understanding reality. The path of doing is called cultivating life. The path of non-doing is called cultivating essence. The real people of ancient times said that essence and life should both be cultivated, so the work requires two stages. One of the paths of spiritual alchemy is cultivating life, one is cultivating essence. The path of cultivating life is the path of doing, the path of cultivating essence is the path of non-doing. The path of doing is prolonging life by certain arts, the path of non-doing is making the being whole by the Tao. Liu Yiming, understanding reality. The path of doing uses inferior virtue. The path of non-doing uses superior virtue. Superior virtue has no doing, there is nothing whereby it does. Inferior virtue does, there is something whereby it does. Tao Te Ching 38. Superior virtue performs the way of non-doing and thus fulfills essence. Inferior virtue performs the way of doing and thus fulfills life. Liu Yiming, Commentary on the Cantong Qi. The 64 hexagrams. Taken together, the 64 hexagrams have a meaning that is distinctively different from the meaning of each individual hexagram. 4 of the 64 hexagrams stand apart from the other 60. These 4, hexagrams number 1, number 2, number 29, number 30, in indistinction, are right with empty non-being. 60 hexagrams revolve around them, outspread like a chariot, harnessing a dragon and a mare. The enlightened ruler holds the reins of time. Wei Boyong, Cantong Qi, Triplex Unity, 2nd C. Taoist text. An old saying goes, I take my spirit as a carriage, while my inner strength acts as the horses. Yu Yan, 13th C. Taoist master, commentary on the Cantong Qi. A human being is represented as a carriage with a driver and a master. The driver, also called the enlightened ruler, is the mind of Tao. He brings back the presence of the original spirit represented by the 4 hexagrams which are out of time. The other 60 hexagrams represent the firing times and occur in time. The creative and the receptive form the crucible and furnace within. Water and fire are the medicinal substances from which the elixir is made. The rest of the 60 hexagrams consequently make up the firing times, through which the elixir is taken. Master Shenyang, Commentary on Cantong Qi. The creative and the receptive are the door and the gate of change, the father and the mother of all hexagrams. Water and fire mark the inner space, and spin the hub and align the axis. Wei Boyong, the Cantong Qi, Triplex Unity. The creative is represented in the heavens above, and the receptive in the earth beneath. They form the image of the axle and are the body of change. Water and fire rising and falling between them, represent the hub that turns upon the axle and make up the function of change. Within a human, the creative the receptive are cauldron and the furnace, while water and fire make up the ingredients of the elixir. The rest of the remaining 60 hexagrams stand for the firing times. Each day there are 12 double hours, 2 hexagrams are made up of 12 lines, and so each day uses 2 hexagrams. Thus, as the 60 hexagrams are divided among the 30 days, they represent a single month. But it is slightly limiting, so why is it done in this fashion? Because it is only metaphor. They are not meant to refer directly to the 30 days. Yu Yan, Commentary on the Cantong Qi. As an example, hexagram number 49 revolution and number 50 the cauldron, shown at 3 o'clock on the image on the left, at position number 23, form one spoke of a wheel. If hexagram number 49 is turned upside down, it becomes hexagram number 50, which gives the image of the rising and falling, which refers to the rising and falling of the breath. All 30 pairs of hexagrams can be seen as the inhalation and exhalation of the breath. As for using the signs and lines in carrying out the firing process, in the 2 hexagrams the creative and the receptive, strength and gentility depend on each other, coming and going alternately, establishing the 4 seasons, making a year, with the operation of the four qualities of creativity, development, fruition, and consummation going on endlessly. The firing process with its advancing and withdrawal, extraction and addition, increasing and decreasing, is modeled on and represented by this, and concentrates a year into a month into a day into an hour, and an hour into one breath. Li Dao Chun, 13th C. Taoist Master, the Book of Balance and Harmony. Breathing out and breathing in does not refer to exhalation and inhalation through the nose, but rather to the opening and closing of the true breath, the inner pulse of life, the movement of energy and stillness of the spirit. Li Dao Chun, the Book of Balance and Harmony. The well-known quote from the Tao Te Ching number 11 refers to the 60 hexagrams arranged in pairs around a wheel. The 30 spokes unite in the one nave, but it is the empty space for the axle that makes the wheel useful. Tao Te Ching number 11. These 30 inhalations and exhalations of the true breath became the 30 Japanese gods of the 30 days of the month. Most scholars believe that they have their origin in China. The gods in all religions are symbols for psychological tools, impulses to start and sustain the firing process, the operation of spiritual awareness. If I accept the fact that a God is absolute and beyond all human experiences, he leaves me cold. I do not affect him, nor does he affect me. But if I know that a God is a powerful impulse in my soul, at once I must concern myself with him, for then he can become important. Carl Gustav Jung, 20th C. Psychotherapist. Internal companions are the men who do not die, from the land of water in the southwest. They support the firm bold breath and hold the handle the life and death. Among the gods they are the numinous officers. Liu Yiming, Cultivating the Tao in the Chinese classical novel Journey to the West. Instead of gods, the image of fruit is used to represent an impulse to start and sustain the firing process. The mountain was called the Mountain of Infinite Longevity, and there was a Taoist temple on it, called the Wuzhuang Temple. The temple had a rare treasure, a miraculous tree that had been formed when primeval chaos was first being divided, before the separation of heaven and earth. Only 30 fruit were formed each 10,000 years, and they were shaped like newborn babies, complete with limbs and sense organs. Anyone whose destiny permitted him to smell one, would live for 360 years, and if you ate one you would live for 47,000 years. Journey to the West. The fruit shaped like newborn baby symbolizes that one needs to get rid of all one's attitudes and opinions and be pure and empty-minded like a baby to unveil the original spirit. Living for thousands of years doesn't refer to the life of the physical body but to the life of the original spirit, which rises out of the ashes like a phoenix. The 30 fruit, like the 30 pairs of hexagrams, refer to 30 breaths in which one becomes simple and ready and aware of oneself, so that the original spirit is unveiled. The 4 timeless hexagrams, the creative, the receptive, water and fire making up the empty space in the middle of the axe, represent the emptiness of conscious awareness spreading in the 4 directions. These 4 are one in God and the one is 4. But we cannot grasp the simplicity of God. While we strive to understand that he is as one, he appears to us as fourfold. Bernard of Clairvaux, 12th C. French abbot. The creative is strong, flourishing, and bright. As it spreads over the 4 directions. Yang terminates at the self, also means the 6th heavenly stem. Residing in the center, it has a share in everything. Liu Yiming, Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 1. Heaven in the field of the square foot, in the house of the inch 2, in the temple of jade, dwells the God of utmost emptiness and light. The secret of the golden flower. This immortal fourfold breath, is hidden in the original cavity of the spirit, behind the spot between the eyes. Zhao Pai Chen, 20th C. Taoist Master, of the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching, the reason the creative and the receptive are the gate and door is to show people the path of firmness and flexibility, simplicity and readiness. The other 62 hexagrams show people the path of modification of simplicity and readiness. The 384 lines of the 64 hexagrams all teach people how to know when they are not simple and ready, and to modify this so that they may eventually become simple and ready. Modification to simplicity and readiness means that awareness and capability, to have self-awareness, are in their innate condition of innocence, and one is a superior person. If one does not change to simplicity and readiness, then awareness and capacity are faulty, and one is an inferior person. The difference between superior people and inferior people is simply a matter of whether or not they know how to make this change. Lu Yiming, Taoist I Ching, the path of superior people is eternal, the path of inferior people is miserable. The Taiji and the 12 sovereign hexagrams. The 12 sovereign hexagrams are 12 hexagrams which show the ascend and descend of Yang, represented by a straight line, and Yin, represented by a broken line, energy. They represent the essence of the I Ching hexagrams. As for the dusk and dawn of a year, on the winter solstice, in the 11th lunar month, one Yang arises, each 30 days adds another Yang line, so one Yang arising in the 11th month makes return, the second Yang arising in the 12th month makes overseeing, the third Yang arising in the first month makes tranquility, the fourth Yang arising in the second month makes great power, the fifth Yang, arising in the third month makes parting, and the sixth Yang arising in the fourth month makes heaven. These are the 6 Yang hexagrams. In the 5th month, one Yin arises, making meeting, and the 30 days of each month add one Yin line, in the 6th month the second Yin arises, making withdrawal, in the 7th month the third Yin arises, making obstruction, in the 8th month the fourth Yin arises, making observing, in the 9th month the fifth Yin arises, making stripping away, and in the 10th month the 6th Yin arises, making earth. These are the 6 Yin hexagrams. The 6 Yang months are the dawn, the 6 Yin months are the dusk, this is the dusk and dawn of a year. Lu Yiming, Commentary on Understanding Reality. These 12 hexagrams are linked to the 12 months of the year to create the firing times of the greater cycle, the sky, the sun. The cycle of the sun, Wei Boyong, Canton Chi, triplex unity, at the new moon's light lies return the Yang breath begins to spread through, going out and coming in without error. At overseeing, the furnace issues strips of light, opening the way for proper radiance. Radiance and shine gradually advance. Looking upward, it forms tranquility. The firm and the yielding both come to hold sway. As Yin and Yang conjoin, the small departs, the great approaches. Gradually comes the turn of great strength. Boldly standing at the gate to dawn. At parting the time has come for Yin to move into retreat, for Yang has risen and has come to the force. Heaven is strong, flourishing, and bright, and lays itself over the 4 neighborhoods. At meeting a new epoch comes to pass, for the first time there is hoarfrost underfoot. At withdrawal it leaves its wordly place, gathering its essence to store it up. At obstruction there are stagnation and blockade, and no new buds are generated. Yin stretches and Yang bends. Observation, with its equity and its balance, examines the temper of autumn's middle month. Stripping away tears its limbs and trunk, extinguishing its form. The vital breath is drained, the supreme spirit is forgotten and is lost. The course comes to an end and turns around, returning to its origin in earth. Ever complying with the patterns of the earth, she receives heaven in herself, allowing it to unfold. This cycle is also called the celestial mechanism. The shallow may take the I Ching to be a book of divination, but the profound consider it the secret of the celestial mechanism. Lu Dongbin, 9th C. Taoist master, one of the 8 immortals, but this celestial mechanism of practicing reversal in the midst of accord has a secret which is communicated verbally and instructs the heart. One must seek the guidance of the true teacher, for it cannot be known through arbitrary guesswork. Lu Yiming, Inner Teachings of Taoism. When these 12 hexagrams are arranged in a circle, the following image on the left appears. The white represents Yang and the gray represents Yin. Hexagram number 24 Return is positioned at number 1, followed by hexagram number 19 Overseeing at number 2 and hexagram number 11 Tranquility at number 3, etc. The first 6 hexagrams positioned at number 1 to number 6 show the increase of Yang energy. Increase means augmenting insufficient celestial energy. To augment what is insufficient means adding from 1 Yang until there are 6 Yangs, so that finally positive celestial Yang is pure and complete. Lu Yiming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 44 Meeting. When the area where Yin and Yang meet are traced, a spiral shape forms, which creates the same shape as yin-yang or taiji symbol. From number 7 to number 12 yin energy increases. When yang culminates, yin is inevitable, one yin surreptitiously arises, and the yang energy is damaged. Lu Yiming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 44 meeting. The 12 sovereign hexagrams are made up of 6 trigrams. The 2 remaining trigrams fire, yin within yang or black within white, and water, yang within yin or white within black, are placed inside the shape and the taiji symbol is complete. This is the origin of the taiji symbol. Wei Boyong ends the verse on the cycle of the sun thus. There is a dark, hidden, secret, remote and slight, that separate they are yet joined together. Wei Boyong, Canton Chi, Triplex Unity. Taoist Master Shangyang comments on this. In just these 2 lines is the most perfect and complete summary of what is meant here. Separate they are yet joined together, meaning that the 2 objects yin and yang are 10,000 miles apart in their activity, but if they gain the old yellow woman to act as matchmaker, although far from each other, they come very close together. And then the 2 materials respond in due measure, bearing as a seed the primacy of yin and yang. Master Shangyang, The Secret of Everlasting Life, Commentary on the Kentang Qi. Now these 12 hexagrams are seen from a different perspective. The 2 groups of 6 hexagrams of advancing yang and 6 of advancing yin, if they gain the yellow woman, actually represent the inhalation and exhalation of the 6 yang breaths of the firing process. The rising and descending of exhalation and inhalation in alternate succession corresponds to the relationship of yin and yang. The Cultivation of Realization, by an unknown author. The true fire is one's own spirit, the true times are one's own breathing. Refining the medicine by means of fire in order to form the elixir is like spirit driving breath in order to attest the Tao. Zhu Yuanyu 17th c. Taoist Master, Commentary on the Kentang Qi. Ancient immortals used the term golden pill, elixir, as a metaphor of the essence of true consciousness, which is fundamentally complete and illumined. Growing from one yang to gradually reach the pure wholeness of 6 yangs, going from vague to clear, the gold elixir develops naturally. Lu Yiming, The Inner Teachings of Taoism. This poem about the Sword of Wisdom shows the same idea. The 6 yangs and 6 yins are the inhalation and exhalation of the 6 breaths of the firing process. The Sword of Wisdom. From the Book of Balance and Harmony, by Li Dao Chun 13th c. Taoist Master. Ever since adepts handed on the secret of the sword, the true imperative has been upheld. Completely, truly adamant. When students of the Tao know this secret, the Yang spirit is intensely powerful, and the Yin demons vanish. The subtle function of spiritual work is truly hard to measure. I now give an explanation for you. In telling you about it, I divulge the celestial mechanism. Setting to work when one yang returns. First have the 6 yangs pump the furnace bellows. Then the 6 yins work the tongs and hammer. When the work of firing is complete, it produces the sword. This precious sword fundamentally has no form. The name is set up because it has spiritual effect. Learning the Tao and practicing reality depend on this sword. Without this sword, the Tao cannot be achieved. The 12 sovereign hexagrams. The 12 sovereign hexagrams show the waxing and waning of yang energy, which is the essence of the I Ching. Waxing of yang energy means increasing yang energy until one reaches pure yang, truly unified energy, the presence of the original spirit or original self. The quality of strong virtue in people is original innate knowing, the same primal energy. This is called true yang, or the truly unified vitality, or the truly unified energy. Confucianism speaks of singleness of mind, Taoism speaks of embracing the One, Buddhism speaks of returning to the One. Lu Yiming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 1, Heaven. The way to return to pure yang is by turning one's attention inward. If one can sustain this without being distracted, the original self gradually returns. Being gentle but balanced, turning the gaze around to inward examination, the heart pure and the mind quiet, not concentrating on externals but carefully watching over one's inner state, controlling movement by stillness, preventing fragmentation by unity, not taking in external things, impervious to outside influences, is like a wife in the kitchen, remaining chaste, invariably gaining good fortune. This is refining the self and using the path of gentility. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 37. People in the home. Whether the 12 sovereign hexagrams are matched with the 12 months of the year, upper left image, or the 12 double hours of the day, right image, the symbolism is the same. The firing process with its advance and withdrawal, extraction and addition, increasing and decreasing, concentrates a year into a month into a day into an hour, and an hour into one breath. Li Dao Chun, 13th C. Taoist Master, the Book of Balance and Harmony. Although the firing process is timed with the breath, the firing process relates to the true breath or breath of life. The yang of heaven and the yin of earth are like the opening and closing of a door. Breathing out and breathing in. Here breathing out and breathing in do not refer to exhalation and inhalation through the nose, but rather to the opening and closing of the true breath, the inner pulse of life, the movement of energy and stillness of the spirit. Li Dao Chun, the Book of Balance and Harmony. The first 6 of the 12 sovereign hexagrams are about sustaining the firing process, sustaining one's inward gaze with a pure heart, pure and a quiet mind, without letting mundane yin energy interrupt one. Hexagram number 24, Return, symbolizes the return of yang energy. This refers to creation, the creation of yang. Creation means the beginning, the first arising of yang energy. Lu Yi Ming, hexagram number 1, Heaven, the Taoist I Ching. Return is developmental, going out and coming in, there is no ill. When a companion comes, there is no fault. Reversing the path, returning in 7 days, it is beneficial to have a place to go. Return means coming back. In the body of the hexagram, one yang moves below a group of yins, this is the return of yang energy. The way to do it involves working in an orderly fashion, in sequence, restoring it gradually. One cannot restore it immediately, or even if one does restore it immediately, it cannot be stabilized. It is necessary to first refine oneself and master the mind, waiting for the time to act. Therefore, reversing the path, reality returns in 7 days. This path is not difficult to know, but it is difficult to practice. From a single yang, until 6 yangs are pure and complete. When return to good is not stable, and you return again and again and lose it again and again, this is called repeated return. Yet if your nature is flexible and your will is firm, and you are single-mindedly intent on return, and you handle yourself in danger, if you can do it once, you can do it 100 times, and if you can do it 100 times, you can do it 1,000 times. This is return in which one studies when at a loss and strives diligently to carry it out. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 24, Return. Hexagram number 19, Overseeing, presents the beginning of the expanding of yang energy. This refers to the development of yang. This hexagram represents watching over the furnace, culling the elixir. But even though the 2 yangs are growing, yin energy is still abundant and yang energy is still weak, it is necessary to be careful to ward off danger. Don't be negligent, but don't be eager either. At the end of overseeing, from action entering into non-action, returning to pristine purity, totally good, without evil, there is nothing one is not aware of, nothing one doesn't know, following the laws of God, this is called attentive overseeing. This is really a guide to the firing process as one watches over the furnace. If students study and find out the facts in the hexagram overseeing, then they can grasp most of the process of firing the gold elixir. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 19, Overseeing. This hexagram represents the advance of yang, whereby the science of building life acts with strength and uses the path of firmness. Therefore, producing things in spring is the creativity of strength. Creation means the beginning, the first arising of yang energy. Developing things in summer is the growth of strength. Development is extension, the expansion of yang energy. Maturing things in autumn is the fruition of strength. Fruition is goodness, the proper benefit of yang energy. Storing things in winter is the consummation of strength. Consummation is quiescence, the resting of yang energy. When yang energy rests quietly, all things return to their root. Such is the strength of consummation. Creation, development, fruition, consummation, the successive movements of the four seasons, all are carried out by one strength, the one is the body, the four are the function. The body is that whereby the function is carried out, the function is that whereby the body is completed. Creation, development, fruition, and consummation are functions of one energy. Starting from effort, you end up in spontaneity, integrating completely with natural principle, then this is the original face of innate knowing, whereby you can share in the function of heaven, and share in the eternity of heaven. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching. Hexagram number 1 Heaven. The four lions on the right represent the strength of creation, development, fruition, and consummation. The four Chinese characters on the pillar mean correct, law, long, and live. Correct law refers to the law of God, the science of building life. Living for a long time refers to the prolonged presence of the original spirit. The firing process going from one yang to 6 pure yangs is the process of action or doing. This is followed by non-action or non-doing. The secret of the elixir of life consists in using action in order to attain non-action. One cannot leap over everything and penetrate directly. The secret of the golden flower. Therefore spiritual alchemy must start with doing, restoring the primordial while in the midst of the temporal, recovering one's original jewel of life. At that point one embraces the fundamental and preserves unity, traveling the path of non-doing, thereby realizing the original essence of real emptiness. What can be done for those who only know non-doing and do not know doing? Lu Yi Ming, Commentary on Understanding Reality, Hexagram number 11 Tranquility, represents the continued development of yang energy and also the balance of yin and yang during the firing process. During the firing process, false yin energy is burned away, while yang energy is growing stronger. However, during this process there must also be a balance of yin and yang. Here yin and yang have a different meaning. Only when yin and yang are harmoniously combined is it possible to accomplish things. Therefore the way of tranquility is that the small goes and the great comes, it is auspicious and developmental. The small is yin and the great is yang, the small goes means yin submits, the great comes means yang is strong. With yang strong on the inside and yin submissive on the outside, the primordial gradually returns and acquired conditioning gradually melts away, thereby it is possible to reach the realm of pure yang with no yin. However, in the path of bringing about tranquility, there is a firing process, there is a course of work. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, Hexagram number 11 Tranquility. Hexagram number 34 Great Power, also refers to the continued development or the expanding of yang energy, which requires great internal power. The path of great power is only beneficial when it is correct. Correct means correctly oriented, reasonably ordered. Orderly power means one has inner autonomy and self-control, and the will is upright and correctly oriented, while outwardly one does not act arbitrarily and so one's conduct is upright. When the will is correct one is firm and strong and irrepressible, unmoved by 10,000 things one is inwardly vigorous and powerful. When action is correct, it is effective and decisive, able to accomplish tasks, one is outwardly vigorous and powerful. Will makes action firm, action makes will complete. There is no limit to the benefits of power applied correctly. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, Hexagram number 34 Great Power. Hexagram number 43 Parting, represents the completion of development. This hexagram represents repelling yin by yang. The energy of external influences is invited by the discriminatory consciousness, so if you want to repel external influences, nothing is better than to first part with the discriminatory consciousness. After people get mixed up in temporal conditioning, the discriminatory consciousness takes charge of affairs, thoughts and ruminations arise in a tangle, and the mind ruler is lost in confusion. Because habituation becomes second nature over a long period of time, it cannot be abruptly removed. It is necessary to work on the matter in a serene and equanimous way, according to the time, eventually discrimination will cease, and the original spirit will return, the human mind will sublimate and the mind of Tao will be complete, again you will see the original self. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 43 parting. Hexagram number 1 Heaven, represents pure Yang. It is the fruition of one's effort. Now that the gold elixir has been created and the original self has returned, one wants to stay with it as long as possible, one wants to consummate it. However, no matter the level of one's developed, sooner or later one's strong virtue dissipates and one is no longer able to ward of mundanity, so yin returns. When yang culminates and mixes with yin, one cannot forestall danger, one yin subtly arises, and all the yin stir. The gold elixir, once gained, is again lost. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 11 Tranquility after the primordial yang in people culminates, conditioned yin arises, the original spirit is obscured and discriminatory awareness does things. One drops the real and recognizes the false, using intellect mistakenly, producing all sorts of cleverness, though overtly there is light, inside is really dark. This is where darkness comes from. Once you have entered, essence is disturbed and life is destabilized. In a single day you are born 1,000 times and die 10,000 times, not knowing how to stop. This is most perilous. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 4 Darkness hexagram number 44 Meeting, symbolizes the return of yin energy and trying to ward of the returning yin energy, if one can. Meeting, the woman is strong. Don't get married. This hexagram represents warding off mundanity and preserving celestial energy. It follows on the previous hexagram increase. Increase means augmenting insufficient celestial energy, to augment what is insufficient means adding from one yang until there are 6 yangs, so that finally positive celestial yang is pure and complete. However, when yang culminates, yin is inevitable, one yin surreptitiously arises, and the yang energy is damaged. The inevitability of yin, when yang culminates, is the path of the temporal, going along with creation. If one can borrow the earthly to complete the celestial, the sage's science of reverse operation to get back to the primordial, one can thereby go in and out of yin and yang without being constrained by yin and yang. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 44 Meeting, hexagram number 33 Withdrawal, symbolizes the withdrawal of yang energy and continued rising of yin energy. Withdrawal means retracting. As for the qualities of the hexagram, above is heaven strong, and below is mountain, still, strength is based on stillness. This hexagram represents soaring yang and subduing energy. Subduing energy means to still strength and not presume upon it. The quality of strength in people is connected to the primordial true energy. After one yin comes and mates with it, yin energy gradually grows, and yang energy of course recedes. The developed person at this point knows the yin energy is active as a natural process, and can hardly be fought, and so does not set about repelling yin but first aims to preserve yang. Preserving yang means gathering in the vital spirit and stabilizing it in its place, whereby to subdue the primal energy. If you can subdue that energy, the yang energy is not injured, and the yin energy spontaneously sublimates. Thus there is a path of development within withdrawal. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 33 Withdrawal. Hexagram number 12 Obstruction, symbolizes yin and yang not joining. Obstruction means blockage. Submitting to one's desires, outwardly acting adamant, negative energy is in charge, while positive energy retreats. Because strength and receptivity are separated, it is called obstruction. This hexagram represents yin and yang not joining. In general, when yin and yang do not combine, true yin changes into false yin and true yang changes into false yang, the primordial is lost and false energy enters and true energy recedes. Denial of humanity is false energy, the superior person is true energy. To follow that conditioned yin, indulging in emotions and giving free rein to desires, without any limit, is denying humanity. At this time the practitioner of the Tao should get rid of intellectualism and gather the energy and spirit within to preserve true yang. Lu Yi Ming, the Taoist I Ching, hexagram number 12 Obstruction. Hexagram number 20 Observation, symbolizes that one can interrupt the arising of yin, revere the path and return to yang, if one observes oneself. This hexagram represents alert observation with clarity of mind.